Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's Dr. Jonathan. I'm getting set up and starting just a minute early because I know that some of you are already ready to go. So we used to hang out on Sundays and I would test the mics and, we'd wander around on stage. Now you miss all that. So check this out. I'm going to put my microphone on. Oh, is that like so much better? Or is that not better at all? It's Mother's Day, and I'm going to stall just a couple minutes here while people get on board. And it's funny because, here we are again, another day of the year that is so special and important to our community. And it reminds me just how important Althea is for so many people, including myself and my family. It's not obviously just the messages, and I'm sorry because such a big part of who we are and what we do, I can't recreate for you. I know the messages are important to a lot of people, and I hope they are, right? In some ways they should be. That's the idea. But it's sharing them together that really makes a difference. And I think a lot of you have had experiences at Althea that have really impacted your life. And sometimes it's just the way we hold a day like Mother's Day differently. Mother's Day is a complicated day. I'll talk about this again later. For many of us, it's a day of great celebration, and for some people, it's a day of great loss or mourning or regret. So we like to look at things differently. We like to see the spiritual heart of life so that there is something in every day, in every moment, in every experience, personal, social, or planetary, that can somehow enrich our lives through our relationship to Spirit. So Mother's Day has been this day that I've just adored because in addition to being able to honor and acknowledge actual biological human mothers, it's a day where we really twist the topic around and recognize that motherhood is an energy and a consciousness that exists on multiple levels. And that's what we're going to be going into today. So don't hang up. Stay with us. I do believe we're going to cover some special things. To get started, though, I want to thank you all for being here. I'm delighted to say that my eyesight is so terrible that if you want to send me a message, you can post it. You can post it here on Facebook, but then Susan, our general manager, is going to send me a message to my tablet. I'll be able to read it here. We do have a couple of announcements that I'd like to share before we get into our opening meditation and prayer. If you haven't seen the notices, there's a lot of hubbub that this Friday we have a fundraiser, emphasizing fun, and it's at 5 p.m. And so look on our website, look in the newsletter, look at the posting that you're probably going to see during this service on Facebook. And the idea is that our provocative and challenging board member, Ginny Castleberry, will be interviewing me live. And the idea is that she is going to explore the depths of my shadowy past and strange personal quirks and qualities. I think she's trying to get a rise out of me so that maybe not only you can find out if I ever get angry, but she's going to actually get me angry in the call. Anyway, you can be a part of this. It'll be fun. It'll be funny. I guess it'll be interesting. And I mean, in terms of who I am, but more importantly, it's a fundraiser, and I do believe we are doing something important in the world today. Not just here with this service, but who we are as a community. We are a home for so many people's comfort and healing and change and transformation, and we want to continue with strength. So even though the COVID pandemic and stay-at-home orders have essentially closed our doors, we know that we can raise money, we can raise spirits, and we can raise consciousness. So let's stay connected, and please join the May 15th, 5 p.m. fundraiser. Bring your cocktails. Ginny and I are going to have a wine together, and we're going to get personal. Also, there is a Divine Science Method of Healing and Prayer class starting May 19th. So if you want to study online the Divine Science Method of Healing and Prayer, which if you don't know what that means, something like science of mind, affirmative prayer, healing prayer, the legendary Reverend Jane Kopp, my predecessor, will be teaching that class, and we could not be happier. Don't forget that we also have an ability for you to donate today, anytime during the service or after, or even if you wake up in the middle of the night and you just think, I wonder how Althea is doing. Maybe I want to donate $200 out of the blue just because I love who they are and what they do. We would not stop you, okay? So donation links will be posted. I do think that is about all I've got. If you don't know, I have a new book out. It's called Spiritual Experience. It's available to you absolutely free, and probably Susan will be posting that link as well, although you can certainly find it on my website and my Facebook page. And we will be doing a fundraising class for Althea in the near future based on that book. So if you get that book or the audio program offer that comes with it, the book is free. The audio is $37. There's tons of content that goes with it. But if you want to do something special for Althea, then get the book and then join the class. And we're going to do a fundraiser book study group together. And you will be with the author, yours truly, and you will be with your free book. And whatever you donate to that class will go to Althea to help us through these stormy days. I think I've covered it all. I always look down here to see if Susan's got any other suggestions or messages for me, but I think we're good. On that note, why don't we settle in? Why don't we take a breath? And today's service is going to fall, or gathering, whatever you want to call it, it's going to unfold a little differently. I think what I'm going to do today is we will do our centering, our prayer, our statement of being. And then what I'd like to do is actually explore 3 facets of motherhood, the consciousness of motherhood, from the actual human biological mother to the archetype of mother that any of us can explore, possess, and demonstrate, to the concept and experience of divine mother. And so I'm going to read a poem before each section, and thus no stories today. But I think you're going to like the way this goes, and probably we'll be finishing shorter than an hour. I think that as these things go on, maybe people are feeling like they don't want to spend an hour on Sunday sitting here looking at a screen. But tune in, hang on, it's going to get good. Ready? Are you ready? Send me the hearts, send the thumbs up, say I'm here. Let's see that you're ready. We need some audience participation, folks. I'm in my basement doing this alone. Throw me a bone. I know. Oh, I see a few. Okay, we can do it. You can do better. All right. So, let's take a breath. I'm going to invite you to sit comfortably but alert. Big breath in and a big relaxing exhale. Big breath in, big relaxing exhale. Feel yourself slowing down and settling down. Feel the silence in your body and your being. Feel the quietness at the core of who you are. Let all the busyness of your mind rest. Let all the distractions around you be set aside. Just tuning inwardly through the heart and into the stillness of self. It is in this stillness that we find each other. It is in this stillness that life speaks to us and we remember the interconnection of all beings. It is in this silent center that we remember that no matter what our experience of mothering and motherhood has been, there is a wholeness inside us, a divine spirit of mother that loves us as we are, that nurtures us as we are, and that gives to the world through us. In our stillness, all the mothers of our lives are with us. Their lessons, their love, and their presence. And so from this heart center, we connect together wherever we are, whoever we are, praying each in our own way, but together as one. To the one that is all, our source, substance, pure existence, dear God, divine Mother. We are humbled by this existence and the extremes of our suffering, our loneliness and longing, our chaos and confusion, and the extraordinary abundance of beauty, of love, wisdom, kindness, patience, nurturing, and the mothering spirit that lives ever present in the world around us. Today, a special blessing and prayer for all the mothers and all those who feel as mothers, regardless of your gender or family or situation, to all those who mother. Blessings for the way you fearlessly, continuously open your heart, give of yourself, and believe in the best, in the beautiful, and the light in that which you mother. Dear God, we give thanks for the mothering qualities of spirit and the ways we can be nourished and feel connected in any moment of any day. A blessing for all those who struggle with the story of mothering and motherhood, their experience of motherhood. May it be healed. May they be made whole. And may we find ourselves moving as a human community into a time, an age where the consciousness of the Divine Mother prevails, where we do business as a loving mother might with their own children, where we make decisions about health and education as a divine mother would for her children, where we relate to our precious, vulnerable selves and each other, even those we struggle with, as the Divine Mother would her own children. Dear God, bless us with this strength. Bless us with this openness. Bless us with this patience. And may we be nourished and replenished by all that we give. For this, dear God, is the essence of the Divine Mother Spirit. In our giving, we receive. May this be the path ahead in our relationship with ourselves, each other, and our world. Amen. And in this way, we can turn to our statement of being and remember that our Althea community is actually the result, I guess you might say, or the beautiful child of a group of women. In particular, we celebrate Nona Brooks. I don't know actually if Nona Brooks had children. I do know a fair bit about her life, but I don't believe I've ever read anything about that. But what I do know is that Nona, like many, many people in this world, and probably like many of you, had a non-human child, that Nona's mothering was her gift of birthing this community. And I know that many of you are mothers, but many of you have been mothers in other ways. Mothers to projects, mothers to communities, mothers to pets, mothers to friends, and in some moments of tender need, hopefully mothers to yourselves. And so we celebrate all these things. And in that way, we recognize that all expressions of motherhood, mothering, and mother consciousness are divine, as it is affirmed in our statement of being, which has been passed to us by the mothers of our community. As we affirm the oneness of spirit, we affirm that all beings are truly doing the best they can with the life, the story, the challenges, and the legacy they live within. And so let us celebrate in this reading of our statement of being the purity of ultimate intent of every soul, every mothering soul, and every mother. May they each be restored and blessed and nourished, for to live the path of the mother is perhaps one of the most rigorous and demanding paths on this planet. Also, I dare say and hope, one of the most rewarding. So let's read together our statement of being. God is all, both invisible and visible. One presence, one mind, one power is all. This one that is all is perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. We are individualized expressions of God and are ever one with this perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. So with that, I'd like to turn to our first reading. The first reading today, which is usually read beautifully by someone who's not me, often by a community member. Our own Liz Picard, I know, has read this more than a few times. But this is by the great Maya Angelou. And so the first phase of our journey together today, there will be 3 phases. In the first phase, we take a moment to simply honor and acknowledge the human mother, the biological, that's my mom. We do this as a beginning step, moving towards the exploration of the motherhood consciousness that lives within us all. It's a bit of a long poem, but it's an important poem and a beautiful poem. And it speaks to the human drama that unfolds between parent and child beautifully. Mother, A Cradle to Hold Me by Maya Angelou. It is true, I was created in you. It is also true that you were created for me. I owned your voice. It was shaped and tuned to soothe me. Your arms were molded into a cradle to hold me, to rock me. The scent of your body was the air perfumed for me to breathe. Mother, During those early, dearest days, I did not dream that you had a large life which included me. For I had a life which was only you. Time passed steadily and drew us apart. I was unwilling. I feared if I let you go, you would leave me eternally. You smiled at my fears, saying, I could not stay in your lap forever, that one day you would have to stand, and where would I be? You smiled again. I did not. Without warning, you left me. But you returned immediately. You left again and returned, I admit, quickly, but relief did not rest with me easily. You left again, but again returned. You left again, but again returned. Each time you re-entered my world, you brought assurance. Slowly, I gained confidence. You thought you know me. I did know you. You thought you were watching me, but I did hold you securely in my sight, recording every moment, memorizing your smiles, tracing your frowns. In your absence, I rehearsed you. The way you had of singing on a breeze while a sob lay at the root of your song. The way you posed your head so the light could caress your face, and when you put your fingers on my hand and your hand on my arm, I was blessed with a sense of health, of strength, of very good fortune. You were always the heart of happiness to me, bringing nuggets of glee, sweets of open laughter. During the years when you knew nothing and I knew everything, I loved you still, condescendingly, of course, from my high perch of teenage wisdom. I grew older and was stunned to find how much knowledge you had gleaned, and so quickly. Mother, I have learned enough now to know I have learned nearly nothing. On this day when mothers are being honored, let me thank you that my selfishness, ignorance, and mockery did not bring you to discard me like a broken doll which had lost its favor. I thank you that you still find something in me to cherish, to admire, and to love. I thank you, Mother. I love you. So, the sunrise of our journey, the first phase, we pause to recognize that the child-mother relationship it's foundational. Whether we had a great experience, a broken experience, a mixed bag, whether we had one mother or two mothers or no mother at all. The child grows in relationship to the mother seat, the mother position, the mother being. We look for mother. And how that story unfolds shapes us for the rest of our lives. What's important to remember as our lesson for this starting point of our journey is that no mother is perfect. No journey of being mothered is perfect. And the truth is, to be a real human mother that gets up day after day to breastfeed or bottle feed, to feed or change diapers or go to work while another partner is doing all that, to be a human mother, to be that bound to someone, to something you love that much, and continue to lose yourself and find yourself day by day, is an extraordinary, demanding adventure. And it's true. We look back over time and we remember our children and all the goodness. We forget often the struggle, but it's okay to say that that struggle still lives inside us. That as we mature as individuals on our spiritual path, we must come to peace with our mothers and with the mother beings, the mother people in our lives. So maybe today is a day to write a letter, to burn a candle and speak freely. Maybe today is a day to ask forgiveness or offer forgiveness. For what we know is that every mother is both uplifted and plagued by their own mother, by their own father, by their culture, their society, their biology, their psychology. To show up and be everything that our kids need is not an easy task, and it's not a likely thing. And guess what? Even when you do show up perfect, well, that screws them up too, right? That is the nature of childhood, and that is the tension and the joy and the beauty and the crisis and the celebration, the interplay between mother and child. So, for this first phase of our journey, we bless all mothers for all they've done, and in our hearts, we ask forgiveness for any way we may have been ungrateful or disrespectful. In our hearts, we pray to forgive our mothers for their imperfections, for their brokenness, for whatever they didn't have that we wanted or needed. For truly we know by nature that if that's what they gave, that is the best they could have given. We pray right now in this time of great economic uncertainty, of great health, despair, and suffering, that all the mothers that are suffering through this pandemic would be supported, bolstered, and nourished. And again, may we each together remember on this day a prayer of peace and reconciliation with the mothers in our life. We are grateful. We are grateful. We are grateful. But as we come to peace with the real mothers of our lives, and as we mature on the spiritual journey, we start to discover something else. And so we move into the afternoon of our journey, the second phase. And we start to unfold the soul's relationship to mother. We start to realize that mother is also an archetype. Mother is not just the biological or contextual parents that we have. That mother is something we can be. That mother is something we have idealized. That mother is something that is bigger than just culture or community or any one person. And I found that David Whyte's poem about his mother's passing is a wonderful transitional reflection as he and his mother both become aware at this time of parting and passing that the consciousness of mother is bigger than their relationship. That it is a kind of fertile ground in which both of them have blossomed and withered and blossomed again. It's called Farewell Letter by David Whyte. She wrote me a letter after her death, and I remember a kind of happy light falling on the envelope as I sat by the rose tree on her old bench at the back door. So surprised by its arrival, wondering what she'd say, looking up before I could open it and laughing to myself in silent expectation. Dear son, It is time for me to leave you. I'm afraid that the words you are used to hearing are no longer mine to give. They are gone and mingled back in the world where it is no longer in my power to be their first original author, nor their last loving bearer. You can hear motherly words of affection now only from your own mouth, and only when you speak them to those who stand motherless before you. As for me, I must forsake adulthood and be boundly gladly to a new childhood. You must understand, this apprenticeship demands of me an element of innocence from everything I ever held in my hands. I know your generous soul is well able to let me go. You will in the end be happy to know my God was true, and I find myself, after loving you all so long, in the wide, infinite mercy of being mothered myself. P.S. All your intuitions are true. And so here we have this beautiful poem where David Whyte is exploring the awareness that his own mother has as she comes to her passing, that it is not the end of something finite. It's not as simple as mother and child, have or have not. That we're all in cycles of receiving, mothering, and letting go and receiving it again. She herself, as she passes into death, releases her role of mothering and embraces being mothered again. She herself, as she releases her duty of mothering her son, acknowledges that her son can be a mother to himself and others. And so here we affirm the second insight of the day, which is that mother is an archetype, and it lives beyond the human experience. Don't dwell in the human limits. Don't dwell in the human losses. Stay rooted in the archetype of mother, and bring that, as a maturing soul, bring that to your relationship with mother. Be the mother consciousness to the mothers in your life, which means patient, abiding, intuitive, and receiving. To love beyond success. To realize that there is a way of loving in this world that is more powerful than romance or compassion or kindness. And that is to recognize that the archetype of mother transcends any individual and so is available to us all. And this brings us to our next poem and to our next and maybe most important reflection, which holds them all together. So in the first reflection, the first insight, we remember that we must make peace with our mothers, the actual real mothers in our lives, to find peace in ourselves. And that now is the day to offer forgiveness, respect, and love, to ask forgiveness, and to find peace beyond circumstance. The second we have affirmed is the recognition that mothering and motherhood and being mothered is not that first insight only. It's bigger than that. That we have many ways we can still be mothered in this world, and that we can still mother others. We can choose to nurture ourselves. We can choose to nurture our life. We can choose to engage in relationships, in work, in our daily habits, attitudes, and behaviors with the mothering intention. And yes, at the heart of that, regardless of gender, we can return to a feminine power. We can return to an earth-like wisdom, patience, and nourishing resilience. But there's one more step to take, as we always have one more step at Althea, and that is to recognize the Divine Mother, a higher, purer form of consciousness than what we have yet talked about. My reading for this comes from the Tao Te Ching, the Stephen Mitchell version. And if you're a fan or familiar with the Tao, you will know that it's a very feminine style of text. And the image of mothering and mother is pervasive and very much interchangeable with the original spirit of life and with the nature of God itself. I'm going to read two, actually. The first is number 6, and the second is number 5. The Tao, or you might say Spirit, is called the Great Mother. Empty, yet inexhaustible, it gives birth to infinite worlds. It is always present within you, and you can use it any way you want. The Tao doesn't take sides. It gives birth to both good and evil. The Master doesn't take sides. She welcomes both saints and sinners. The Tao is like a bellows. It is empty yet infinitely capable. The more you use it, the more it produces, the more of you talk of it, the less you understand. Hold on to the center. And so in this reflection from Taoism, we are returned to our core awareness on the spiritual journey, the core awareness for those on the path of awakening to oneness, which is to recognize that at the heart of all of life, all that is manifest, all that feels real, is something that transcends, something that is the birthplace, the original home, the first energy and consciousness of life itself. And in this eternal consciousness, there are currents of energy, forces of energy, and the Divine Mother is one of them. In fact, as they say in Taoism, one might consider that the very subtle, original nature of spirit itself is a mothering energy. Now, we have to be clear that when we say a mothering energy, we're not really talking about a human mother per se. When we say a mothering energy, what we mean is that the qualities of the universe are like a mother, are as if they were mothering. There is no, in my way, in our way at Althea, there is no one being answering emails and filling out requests and baking cakes and throwing parties for you. But the universe itself, its energy, its designed spirit, God, the purity of existence as we experience it has mothering qualities. It feels impatient. It feels patient, enduring. It accepts us, both good and not so good. It accepts all polarities and actually asks none to change, but through our own will and insight, as we learn ourselves to come into accord, into alignment with that divine, loving spirit. And this is why, even in the monotheistic traditions, even in the male, masculine-dominated traditions of the world, that Divine Mother arises again and again and again. whether it's the Shekhinah of Judaism, whether it's the beautiful traditions of Sufism within Islam, or whether it's the Mother of Christ and the many, many ways she arises again and again and again around the world. We are born of a mothering consciousness. Our universe is a mothering consciousness. And if you long for mothering that has been missed, if you don't know how to embrace that mothering in yourself or to be a mother to others, then simply let life teach you. Sit quietly beneath a tree and, like the Buddha, set your hands on the earth, open your heart and just feel and listen. Open your heart and mind to the stories of others. Seek the nourishment of others and let yourself take time. At the core of the divine mothering consciousness is the embrace of life as it is and the willingness to allow life to unfold with the power and the presence of time. It sounds simple, but it's a lifetime of work to embrace the divine mother consciousness, to see it and feel it everywhere around you every day, to trust and know that it's there. And then from that place to realize your ability to be a mothering energy. And from that place to offer your sympathy, empathy, appreciation, and gratitude to your own mother, to the one who brought you into this world through her body. And yes, it's a full circle. For that process itself is the first miracle we participate in, and so we are all as if by virgin birth. We are all divine conceptions. We are all divine births. For we are in a world of miracles. And it is through that divine order, that divine design, that we come into being, and that consciousness remains with us for the rest of our lives. So, it was my intention today, as I shared at the beginning, that maybe we would finish earlier today, that maybe our Sunday gathering should be something more like 45 minutes. I can only encourage you to take what we've shared today and move it into practice. Write those letters asking or giving forgiveness. Look at your life and how and when you can be the mothering spirit. If you struggle with understanding how you need that mothering spirit and why this is so important, well, just look at anything you struggle with, any one you struggle with, and listen to your thinking. Listen to the way you think when you are at odds with life. These are the thoughts of a child. And notice how you feel, the indignancy, the outrage, the hurt, the fear of abandonment. These are the emotions that you planted as seeds, or life planted as seeds so long, long ago. Looking at our own struggles for balance, we can remember that there is a child within us longing for peace again, to be held and loved unconditionally. And through that, not only do we find our own wholeness, but we find that we can do that for others. Is there someone in your life who you can do that for today? Who you can be the nourishing, abiding presence? And of course, can you take time every day to affirm in thought, in action, in spiritual practice, and return to the mothering consciousness, to the center of life, in stillness, in silence, and from that oneness, experience directly the divine mother consciousness alive within you, around you, and giving life to all things. It's kind of amazing, really, if you think about it. It's amazing the world that we live in. So we're going to wrap up in a moment with a last mother-related poem, this one by Rilke. And again, a few quick reminders for the week. We would be so grateful if you have some time right now to make a donation for our Sunday gathering, for all the people that have gathered here, for our big, beautiful building that sits waiting for us, and yet still, day by day, requires utilities and maintenance and insurance. It doesn't stop just because we're staying at home. So we're grateful for your donations. We hope you will join us Friday for this fun, provocative exploration that I think is going to be about picking apart the inner world of someone who has spent their entire life dedicated to spiritual study and the spiritual journey. So don't forget, Ginny Castleberry from the board will be doing a live cocktail hour wine and cheese with me virtually, picking my brain apart and my life integrity and other things that remain to be discovered. And I promise to be honest or take the fifth. We also have a Divine Science Method of Healing and Prayer class starting May 19th. Don't forget to check out our website and Facebook to find that out, or you'll see promotions in our newsletter. If you don't get our newsletter, you should. If you're not following us on Facebook, you should. And if you don't have a copy of my new book, Spiritual Experience, please look out for it. You can find it on, my Facebook page and my website. And then I do believe it's been in our newsletters, and it's coming again. There's no cost for the book, and we will be doing some fundraising classes in the near future based on that book. So make sure you get your copy and start to explore. I think that's it. I can only thank you for taking time on this beautiful Sunday, where of course we know you have other places to be, in your house, in your room, or other people to be with, online or on the phone. But most significantly, I want to say, keep coming back. Attending the live sessions means a lot to everyone else who's on the live sessions with you. It's nice to watch them alone when it's, comfortable for you. But I want to say, watching them live together makes a difference. And for those people that are feeling lonely or fearful or stuck, seeing your little comments, your little love bubbles, seeing the numbers of people on the live feed with us, it matters. So let's stay together as a community. Let's stay strong as a community, and let's hold this moment of challenge as the Divine Mother would, with faith in the future, with absolute certainty of the beauty and the power and the perfection of each soul in our community, of the soul of our community, and our ability to come through this stronger than ever. And so, in this spirit, we close with a poem that is a prayer. It is my prayer to you and for you. It is the affirmation that the very spirit and purpose that brings us together as a community is the very spirit and wisdom that will carry us through this difficult time and open each of us to unspoken wisdom and power that will remain with us unshakably for the rest of our days. So I invite you now to close your eyes, take a breath, open your heart with gratitude that we have each other, that we can know Spirit, and that through the experience of motherhood, mothering, our world has lasted this long. And only by embracing this spirit, this consciousness of motherhood and making peace with the mothers in our lives. Only then, when our leaders lead as mothers, will we find hope, harmony, healing, and a future for all. Rilke writes, "You are the future, the red sky before sunrise over the fields of time. You are the rooster's call when night is done. You are the dew and the bells of morning, of maiden, stranger, mother, and death. You create yourself in ever-changing shapes that rise from the stuff of our days, unsung, unmourned, undescribed, like a forest we never knew. You are the deep innerness of all things, the last word that can never be spoken. To each of us you reveal yourself differently, to the ship as a coastline, to the shore as a ship." So thank you all for being here today with me. I love you. I wish you a beautiful day and a great healing in your relationship with the mothers of your life, the mother in yourself, and an awakening of your relationship to the divine mother that is the essence of our source, our substance, and the spirit of all life and all things. Next week, I'm going to try to do this somewhere else. Make it interesting. Mix it up. We got to get people connected again. I'll see you on Friday for my provocative Q&A. Again, lots of love, and we'll see you soon.